Hi everybody, welcome back. I've got a makeup wish list video today, and I like to put out a wish list video every couple of months, every few months, and that's just because as new makeup items are released, there might be something that comes out and catches my eye, or it might be that I stumble across an old firm favourite amongst people that I think, oh yeah, I'd quite like to try that. Also, my makeup preferences can change as well, so it might be that when I add something to my wish list, I might be really into blushes, for example, but then a couple of months down the line that might change and I might now be really into lip liners. So when I make my makeup wish list, and I have a notes app on my phone and I add to that, I've got a page full of makeup wish list items. When I add products to that, I like to, I suppose, sit with that for a while. I don't like to add something to my wish list and then force myself or feel the need to go out and buy it straight away. I like to take some time to really think about whether it's an item I'm going to get a good amount of use out of. If it's a new release as well, I like to see what other people think about it. I don't like to, or I try not to get caught up in the hype of a new product. So items that are on my wish list tend to stay there for quite some time, and then I'll come back to the wish list and I'll delete things that I'm no longer into, or if there is something that is still on my wish list, that is when I will most likely go out and buy it, because it means that I am going to get my use out of it. It has been on my wish list for quite some time and I do still really want it. So I have quite a big kind of list here for my wish list notes, but I'm only really going to talk about 8 items, and these 8 items are makeup products that I am more likely to buy sooner rather than later. Some of them have been on my wish list for quite some time, a couple of them are newer items, and most of them do seem to be base products as well. So let's get into these items and I'll talk you through why they are on my wish list. Okay, first item is a concealer. I have a few concealers on my list actually, and the first one retailing at £30, so quite a lot of money for a concealer. It's not even a foundation. Is the Dior Forever Skin Concealer. And I think the reason why I've got a few concealers on my wish list is because I am panning 2 of my 3 concealers, and the other one I'm a bit about. I'm indifferent. It's alright, doesn't really excite me. So because I have been panning 2 concealers for all of this year, I'm kind of itching to try something new, but I don't really want to buy concealer and then have that be the focal point and then that take away from me needing to use up my 2 other concealers in my project pan. However, those 2 I think are starting to run out, one in particular. So I think the reason I've added 3 into this wish list is because I might sometime soon add a new one into my collection. And the Dior one is meant to be really good. It does come highly recommended by a lot of different people, and this one has been on my wish list for quite some time, so it's one that has kind of stuck around. And I feel as well, when you Google what concealers to use, the best concealers, this one does tend to pop up in a lot of lists, so it does seem to be a bit of a fan favourite. However, it's £30. That is a lot of money for a concealer, so if I was going to buy this, like I do with anything that I buy, I would like to get a good discount on, because I don't think I can really justify 30 quid on a concealer. If it was a foundation, I'd be more inclined to do so, but concealers are, what, 9 mils, 12 mils sometimes, so you don't get a load of product. But actually saying that, a concealer does last a long amount of time. I mean, I've been panning 2 of them for, what, 8 months now, so they do last, so maybe that £30 will see you through a long amount of time, but it's just on first instance, £30 for a concealer sounds like a lot of money. Okay, the second concealer on my list is another fan favourite from what I've read online, and this one also does seem to appear on a lot of the suggested lists for great concealers, and this is the Lancome Wear All Over Concealer. A little bit nicer in terms of price point. It's £20, so initially £10 cheaper than the Dior one. And Lancome, really good brand as well. I have tried quite a few makeup items from Lancome and I've liked what I have tried. Haven't tried actually any makeup items from Dior, so if you have, please let me know whether you think the brand is worth it. And like with the Dior one, from what I've seen, little TikTok videos, YouTube videos, reviews, the Lancome concealer seems to be really easy to work with. A long lasting concealer, and I need something that's going to tackle these dark circles of mine. I do colour correct my dark circles, but on the days where I'm really pushed for time, I don't. I do tend to kind of skip that step. It doesn't happen very often at all, but I do then go in with a bit more concealer. So hopefully going for a brand like Dior or Lancome, because it's more expensive, you expect it to perform that bit better than cheaper high street brands. So hopefully the Dior or the Lancome one can tackle these dark circles that bit better. So if you have tried either of these concealers, please let me know whether you think they are worth it or which one you prefer. Right, I've got a few Vieve products, and I feel like whenever I do these makeup wishlist videos, there always seems to be at least one Vieve product in them. Now that's just because, well, one, I love the brand, and also Vieve always seems to be coming out with new products, and the products they release are always really good. Apart from the lipsticks, I wouldn't get the lipsticks again. I don't think the lipstick shades are that great, and they are a little bit drying. However, Vieve have recently come out with 2 new products and base products as well, which is exciting. The first one retails for £22 and it is the Modern Radiance Concealer. This is meant to have a bit of a mousse texture, meant to be very light in terms of texture, but buildable coverage as well. Really easy to work with. However, it has only recently come out, so I am going to wait until there are some more reviews out there. I'm going to try and watch some YouTube videos, some TikTok videos as well, and try and get lots of different people's opinion on them. And that's what I like to do when a new makeup item is released. I like to see whether it's worth buying first, instead of getting, you know, caught up in the hype and going, oh, it's new and people say it's really good, so I'm going to get it. I like to see whether it is in fact any good before I spend 22 quid on a concealer. And they have also come out with a powder as well for £28, the Modern Powder Perfector. Now, for me, I find powders quite boring. I think they are the most boring of all of the makeup items that you can own. Maybe setting sprays are up there as well in terms of how boring a product is. And that's just because they're not that colourful. They're not that exciting. You need to find one that suits your skin tone. It's not about finding, oh, a nice sparkly pink one or a red one, or, you know, a whole multitude of colours of different powders. You need a powder to set your face, so it's got to be skin tone. Therefore, it's a little bit boring. And it's a practical makeup item as well. Like I say, you need it to set your face so your concealer doesn't smudge under your eyes. You can tone down any oiliness. So it's not that pretty to look at, and it's a practical makeup item. It's not one that I would buy because it's fun. However, I have added this one to my list because I currently own 2 powders and I'm perfectly fine with those powders, but I have had them for quite some time, so it might be nice to try a new powder. But again, like with the Vieve concealer, I'm gonna wait and see as to what lots of people say about this powder, whether it is worth it or not, and whether it provides anything different to the 2 powders that I currently own. Next Vieve product is a face palette, and this one quite surprises me because I'm not really a face palette kind of person. Because with face palettes you get what you're given. Yes, you can choose, you know, a light version, a medium version, a dark version. You don't have a say over the colours of the bronzers or highlighters, blushes that you're given. I'm not really that keen on that. I like to buy separate individual blushes and bronzers, not so much highlighters, because then you can make sure that that exact shade is suitable for your skin tone. However, this face palette for £39 in the shade Dawn looks beautiful, and it looks like all 4 shades are going to suit me really well. And the powders that Vieve do are just brilliant. I said that I'm not that keen on the lipsticks, but the powders, the bronzer duo is excellent. The blushes are beautiful, and from all the reviews that I've seen, it says that the quality is the same compared to the bronzers and the blushes. So if I do buy it, I'm hoping that it will be of a similar high standard. So the blushes should hopefully be really buildable, and the colours tend to look like they should suit a fairer complexion like myself, but they have a bit of warmth in there as well, which is good for my warm complexion as well. And there's something about the formulation of the Vieve powders that makes it really easy to use. They're a little bit, I was going to say idiot proof, but that sounds really rude. It's a little bit, I suppose, beginner friendly, or even if you're not a beginner, or if you're a bit like me who's worn makeup for years but you're not really that good at it, those powders make it easier to be good at doing your makeup. They're really easy to work with. They're so buttery, they're so blendable, they look really beautiful and natural. I do have a little bit of a Vieve blusher on today, only a little bit because it's the dark Piazza shade. But the powders are just a joy to work with, and I love the packaging of this face palette as well, and I do think I would use all 4 shades, even the highlighter. But yes, I do think the highlighter I will end up using the least because I'm not a highlighter fan. This one is limited edition though, so I think out of all of the items on my wish list here, this would be the one that I would be buying the soonest, the quickest, because it being limited edition, it's likely to stop being sold soon. Don't know when they're planning on stopping selling it. It was a summer product, so maybe in the next couple of months or something. Not sure if that means they're going to reduce the price a little bit, but we will see. You know me, I love a bargain, and at £39 it is more of a considered price point as well. But you are getting 4 pans, 4 products within one, so just under £10 each. It is actually a pretty good deal. I do have one more Vieve product on my wish list, but I think out of the 4 Vieve products, this one would be the one that I would be least likely to buy. And this is Skin Dew, and this retails for £19, and Skin Dew is a liquid highlighter, a liquid glow product. Now I know I've just said that I'm not that keen on highlighter, but if I am going to buy a highlighter in the future, I would rather a liquid one, because it looks more like a healthy radiant glow rather than a powdery glittery product. And this product as well, you can mix in with concealers, you can mix in with foundation, so it's a bit of a multitasker product as well. You can put it on your collarbone, you can put it on your legs. But as we are coming into the autumn months here in the UK, I'm not really sure how much of my collarbone and legs I'm going to be getting out. But there are so many excellent reviews for Skin Dew that I'm also just really intrigued to try it as well. However, I have heard that the packaging is awful because it's a squeezy tube rather than a pump, so you don't actually have much control over how much comes out. And apparently if you squeeze some product out, a lot ends up coming out of the tube. So I think if I was to get it, I would probably just decant it all straight away into a spare little pot that I tend to keep hold of, because I don't want to be wasting any product. But like I said, this is probably the Vieve product I'm gonna end up buying later than the other ones that I've mentioned in this video, just because it is a highlighter product and I am more intrigued by the other 3 items. Okay, last couple of items. I have a cream bronzer on my wish list, and that's because the Fenty cream bronzer that's in my project pan is very close to being used up. Probably got a couple of months left of it. It's got a really big pan. Now, I really like the Fenty bronzer upon initial application because the colour is really lovely. It's not really dark or muddy or orange. I do as well have it on today. It's really easy to work with as well. If you're, again, like myself, not that great at applying makeup, sometimes cream products are easier to work with than powders. You tend to have a little bit more control over it, and they tend to be a little bit more sheer as well. So the cream bronzer is really easy to apply. You have great control over how much colour, how much pigment is built up. So you can go for just a light little bit of bronze, or you can go full on bronze goddess. But my issue with the Fenty bronzer, and also the powder bronzer as well, is the longevity. So I like it when I initially apply it. I like how easy it is to work with. I like the colour. I like how sort of radiant and healthy and juicy my skin looks, my cheeks look. But it doesn't last for very long. So after a couple of hours, I'll check out my makeup in the mirror, see how it's looking, and I'll notice that most of the bronzer seems to have disappeared. So I want to try another cream bronzer because I love a cream bronzer. I love working with the formulation, but one that has better staying power. And one that has been on my wish list for quite some time is the Refy cream bronzer in the shade Sand. And this retails for £18. So I think it's a little bit cheaper than the Fenty one. I think the Fenty one was about £24, something like that. So a little bit cheaper, which is good. And again, I have seen so many good reviews for this Refy bronzer. So fingers crossed that it performs better than the Fenty one in terms of longevity, but the colour and the formulation and how easy it is to use is the same. In my Project Pan video, I did have a couple of people give me some recommendations for cream bronzers. So NARS Laguna bronzer was suggested, as was Sol, a sister company of Colourpop that I've not actually heard of. So thank you for those suggestions, really helpful, and I have added those to my wish list as well. But I do want to try the Refy one first because it has been on my wish list for a fair amount of time. Okay, last item is a lipstick. Now, lipsticks were part of my makeup collection that was quite large. I needed to reduce them, and I have, if you saw my recent makeup declutter, I did get rid of, sorry, I think about 6 lipsticks. However, I'm on the search for the perfect nude lipstick for myself, a lipstick that I can just whack on and I can, I suppose, guarantee that it's going to work regardless of what makeup look that I am wearing. But my kind of trouble at the moment is that I don't know whether I'm a spring or an autumn. So I've looked for spring lipsticks that suit a spring, lipsticks that suit an autumn, and I'm just a little bit confused. But one that I have seen recommended for an autumn, I think, is Mocha by MAC. And I went into store the other day, swatched it, and it looked beautiful. It's a very warm, soft orange brown, and it looks like it could be a quite good nude on myself. And I was going to buy it. I was going to do the back to MAC. I'd brought along 6 empty lipsticks with me to trade in for a free lipstick, but they sadly didn't have it. Don't know if that's the universe telling me something or whether they just didn't have it and it's no big deal. So if you own Mocha, or if you have very similar colouring to myself and you have a perfect nude lipstick, please let me know what it is, because I really do want that perfect nude lipstick, like I say, that I can wear with any makeup look, and I know it's gonna work for me. So the hunt is on for my perfect lipstick, and Mocha I think is one that I am gonna try next. However, as I was speaking just then, it did just pop into my head, Clinique. I mentioned ages ago, when I still had my Clinique entwined lipstick, a dark vampy berry, that I got swatched in store with their foundation, a even better colour foundation, something like that. And then they match you up to 3 lipsticks that perfectly suit your complexion. And the 2 lighter pinks that I got matched to were amazing, and they suited my complexion really well. So maybe I might add those to my wish list as well, because I know that they work. Oh god, the first world problems of trying to find your perfect lipstick. So those were my makeup wish list items. If you have tried any of them, please let me know your thoughts down below. Please let me know whether you would recommend them or not. Or alternatively, if you think of a makeup item that fits the bill and you think I would really like, please let me know as well. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon for my next one.